Hi everyone, it is time for a new vlog, and today I'm going to be doing a 48-hour readathon vlog, which I'm so fucking excited for. I know I say I'm excited every single time I start a vlog, but I'm in such a strong reading mood today, so let's just talk about my plans, what's happening, what we're doing, and everything, and yes. It is like 3 p.m. or something right now, and I'm not starting yet. But again, I'm super excited, and so I wanted to film the intro already, and just so that the lighting is good and whatever, you know. And so I am probably going to start later tonight. I am going to be hanging out with a friend, like online, but it's probably going to take a while. So I think I want to start after that. Let's talk about my physical TBR. Which, if you have watched any of my videos, you would know I struggle with physical books, to say the least, and I always end up not reading them, or, you know, but I am determined, and I'm actually just so fucking excited to dive into these books. One of them is Hang the Moon by Alexandria Bellafleur. This is an adult romance, and it's supposed to be super romantic and swoon-worthy and everything. I really want to read this. I started a tiny little bit of it, and I have a really great feeling about it. I just know I'm gonna love this book, and I think it's gonna be so much fun. Then another one of the books is Drag Me Up by R.M. Virtues. I'm really sorry if you can see the fingerprints on it. It's just the kind of matte cover that gets dirty immediately, and I love how it looks, but the fingerprints are super annoying. I also tried to like get rid of them, and it was not fully working, so I'm trying to like pick an angle where you can't see it. It's a Hades and Persephone retelling. I've heard wonderful things, and I've been dying to read it, and I just know I'm gonna love it, so I'm super excited. And this one is shorter than a book I'm not really sure about, but I think I'd like to at least start it, is A Crown of Wishes by Roshni Chokshi, which is a YA fantasy romance, and it's like a royal romance, and I'm pretty sure the princess is captured by her kingdom's enemies, and then with like the prince, she makes a deal to work together or something, and I just know I'm gonna love it, and it's gonna be amazing. I haven't fully been in a fantasy mood, but I feel like at the end of the readathon maybe I could be in the mood for it after like all the romances and stuff. And then lastly, I have Book Love by Debbie Tung, which is a graphic novel. I don't really know anything about it. I literally was looking for graphic novels at a bookstore. They didn't have what I was looking for, but I saw this and it looked super cute, and so I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna read this. So I feel like what better time to read a graphic novel than a 48-hour readathon. I do have some like ebooks and audiobooks, but I feel like we're gonna talk about that when we get there. Actually, one book that I'm really sure I'm gonna read is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, which is another adult romance. I have heard amazing things about it. It is quite a long book, but I have the audiobook, and I feel like it's totally fine. Again, like, I feel like the 48 hours feel so much longer than the 28 hours. Like, not 28, 24. Obviously, it's twice as much, but I don't know, it makes me feel less pressure, which I love to see. So, yeah, and I'm gonna update you when I start reading, when I start the readathon officially, so I'll see you then. I wanted to do a quick update because it is 11 p.m. now, and the friend ended up not being able to hang out with me, but I have just kind of been doing other things. So I was thinking that I'm going to start the readathon officially at midnight. I feel like it's not something I've ever done. I've never started it at midnight unless it was someone else doing the readathon. Really often I feel like midnight is like the most common for readathons because it's like the absolute start of the day or whatever. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do that. Plus it's 48 hours, and I like having it in the evening or like as late as possible as opposed to earlier in the day, so I feel like it's gonna work out. I have kind of like picked up some of the books just to see what they're like So I do think I have a sense of what I want to start with. So let's just quickly catch up on that, and then I think I'm gonna just talk to you in the morning because everyone's gonna be asleep soon, and I don't like talking when everyone's sleeping because I feel like I'm talking too loud. And you know, so I think the book that I'm gonna pick up next in the morning is Drag Me Up by R.M. Virtues. I'm so fucking excited for this. There's a bookmark in it. I read like 8 pages. Then I was thinking originally that I would read this, you know, in one sitting super quickly to kick off the readathon to feel super productive. But I also opened it to see what it's like, and it's kind of like tiny little moments put together, like bookish moments, like the main character goes to a bookstore to buy a ton of books or whatever, and it's cute, it's heartwarming. If you love books, you know, it's super relatable, but it's also not like something that you just want to keep reading without stopping. It's just more like something you pick up to, I don't know, like get excited to read or whatever. So I think this one I'm just going to read over the next 2 days. And so the thing that I haven't told you about yet is that I want to read The Archive of the Forgotten by A.J. Hackworth. This is an adult fantasy, and it's queer found family, and it's the sequel to The Library of the Unwritten. And I don't love reading sequels in reading vlogs, but I wanted to use it as an opportunity to talk to you about The Library of the Unwritten, which I love so much, and I need more people to read it. And I also just thought about it. It was the kind of thing that I was like, I feel like it's the right time to read it. It's super exciting. I think I'm not going to want to put it down. And so I think this is the thing that I'm going to read before going to sleep. So The Library of the Unwritten, I obviously can't tell you anything about the sequel, but the first book is basically the main character, Claire. Her job is to hunt down characters who escape from unwritten stories. She is a librarian in the Library of Hell, and she has to do that. And so the story starts with her having to hunt down one of the characters, and things go on from there. Again, it's found family, it's queer, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's amazing, magical, so cool, so interesting, so unique, and really fast-paced and engaging and wonderful. And like, why the fuck aren't more people reading this series? Come on. So I think it's gonna be a trilogy, and the last book is coming this fall, so I'm super excited to read this. So that's gonna be happening. I'm so excited to read, so we're gonna have fun. I'm not gonna like put pressure on myself. I'm just gonna have the goal to have fun. No matter how many books I read, this is gonna be fun, and I'm so excited. So I'm gonna talk to you in the morning. Good morning, everyone. It's finally time for an update. So obviously it's the next day. It's gonna be noon soon, but I've done some reading. So I went to sleep at like 1 a.m. last night. What I forgot to specify yesterday is that I am going to be sleeping. I do want to try to do like an actual all-nighter for a 24-hour readathon at some point, but I just I don't drink coffee, and I would have to figure out a way to stay awake in a different way that's not coffee. We're gonna do that another time. And so yeah, I don't even set alarms because I hate alarms. I hate waking up. It's not a good time. I actually decided to be smart yesterday, and instead of starting Archive of the Forgotten, which I am going to get to probably today, I decided to pick back up a book that I started that I still haven't finished, and I've been wanting to finish for 2 weeks. So I always read multiple books at a time, but usually I kind of manage to read all of them quickly, but sometimes it happens that I start a book, read a decent chunk of it, and then stop reading it, and then for ages I can't get back to it, and then I struggle to finish it. My brain enters this weird mode, and it's not good. But I am now at 70% of A Duchess a Day by Carrie Michaels. This is a book that I started for the historical romance readathon, so I kind of mentioned it in that vlog, but I just still, again, couldn't get to it. But now I was like, you know what, I'm actually in the mood for it. And so I'm at 70%, like I said, and I'm loving it. So the plot of this book is, it's basically like a bodyguard romance, which is the best thing ever. Like, Who doesn't love that trope? I adore that trope, and I want to read more of it. And so particularly in this book, the main character, Helena, I think that's her name, she is supposed to get married to this old, boring duke, and she doesn't want to get married to him, but her family wants her to get married to him really badly, and she keeps on trying to get away so that she can just, you know, do whatever she wants. And so one person from the family recruits this guy who's in prison, and he hires him to make sure that Helena doesn't escape, but things don't turn out quite as planned. And I absolutely love Declan and Helena. Like, they're such wonderful characters. They have incredible chemistry, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like they're just, Helena is so like adventurous and fun and independent, and I love them so much. And yes, so their chemistry, their connection is amazing. The book is so fun and lighthearted. I'm here for it. So I'm really enjoying it. Definitely gonna be finishing it super soon. I might eat lunch and then finish it. We'll see. The only complaint slightly that I have for this book is that Helena basically wants to find like a new person to be interested in marrying the Duke. And so that it's actually a Snow White retelling. I forgot to say that. And so that's supposed to be like the dwarves. And so it's kind of a plot that like she tries to figure out which woman might be interested. And so that kind of subplot I'm not really that interested in, but I don't really care because like there's so much content with our main characters, and it's so good that like all the other side stuff, like, I don't care, but it's not bothering me that much. I feel like I'm actually just really focused on having fun, and I'm in such a strong reading mood. So I love that for me. So yeah, I'm gonna talk to you soon. So it's 3 p.m. now, and I finished A Duchess a Day by Karis Michaels, and I really liked it. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. It wasn't completely a 5-star because of the thing that I mentioned, and just because, you know, I didn't have that like feeling, but I absolutely loved the two main characters. It did have some angst in it, but it wasn't the kind of angst that like it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't anything like frustrating or dumb or anything, so that was nice. And then I actually started His Beauty by Jack Carbon earlier today, around lunch when I was like waiting for the potatoes to boil and whatever. I was on my phone and I started this, and I'm at 40%. So this is a novella, and it's like a adult fantasy romance kind of. And this one is another retelling, and this time it's Beauty and the Beast. Surprisingly, based on the cover and title, you can probably tell. I think there's nothing necessary to say to that besides that, and the fact that the Beast stays the Beast. So it's like a monster romance, and I haven't really read a lot of monster romances. When I did, I basically imagined the person or the people as human with, you know, maybe like horns or whatever. In this book, it's a little bit more difficult for me not to actually imagine the Beast, or, you know, so I personally do not like that. But if you like monster romances, if you're into that, you might like this. But besides that, if I ignore that, it's fun and it is super quick to read. There was one scene or like one thing that happened earlier on that I really didn't like. I felt like it was just too much and too like aggressive and weird, so I didn't like that, but it's all fine now. So yeah, I think I'm gonna fly through that, and then I'm not sure what I'm gonna read next. But again, feeling really great about the things that I'm reading, and again, I just wanted to read something short but I am going to get to the physical books. I read a little bit of Book Love. I'm almost in the middle of it. I don't know if I mentioned that I feel like this book is not one I'm gonna like fly through and read in one sitting. And it's not like I don't love it. I expected to like it a little bit more. But it is cute, and I don't like, it's nice to read in between books or just whenever I'm in the mood. So I do think I'm gonna be finishing this, just probably not immediately. But yeah, so that is all for now. It is time for some updates. If I look a little bit rough, it's because I accidentally took like a super short nap because I decided to move to bed. I thought it'd be nice and comfy, you know, but I just can't do that. Like, I always start falling asleep and it's super annoying, so I'm gonna move back to my armchair after this update. So okay, where do I even start? I finished one thing, which I didn't even plan on it, but I was in the mood for watching YouTube, but at the same time, I wanted to read a little bit while watching YouTube, and so I ended up reading Book Love by Readathon, because this thing is just, you know, it didn't require a lot of brain power, and so I could easily read this while watching things. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It's not like a bad 3 stars. I'm glad that I read it. It was nice, it was quick, it was easy to read, it was heartwarming. You know, it's all about books and bookish love, and there were things that made me smile, that I related to, that were really sweet. But I didn't fully vibe with the art style. It's just not my type of vibe. But the thing that I didn't like the most is that I feel like I didn't get a sense of who the character was as a person at all, because we literally see only books. And while for me personally books are such a big part of me, it's obviously not everything, and like books aren't like, you know, yeah. And so I felt like I just couldn't fully connect with the character. I could only like relate to the bookish things but couldn't connect with the person, you know. I don't even think we know the main character's name. Maybe that is like the purpose. Maybe we're supposed to just like self-insert. I don't know. So I finished this, and then actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if I updated you on finishing His Beauty by Jack Harbin. I think I didn't actually talk to you about that. So I finished that. I ended up giving it, I think, 3.5 stars. So it was really fun. It was super quick to read. I really like flew through it. I enjoyed it. I didn't have to like force myself into reading it or anything. It was just really easy to get through. I liked it, but I think I might have mentioned to you that I did not prepare myself for the fact that it's a monster romance, and for some reason in this book I just could not like get over it. But I still enjoyed it. So if you like monster romance and novellas and Beauty and the Beast retellings and just steamy romances, then I think you might like this. So I did that, and then I keep telling you that I want to read Drag Me Up, and it is happening. But after His Beauty, I was surprisingly kind of thinking like, you know what, I think I'm in a fantasy mood, because I actually also started a romance, but I'm gonna get to that in a second. But then I was like, you know what, since I'm in a fantasy mood, I think I might pick up A Crown of Wishes. And while I definitely do want to, and I read the first 12 pages, just the tiniest little bit, but I'm actually really excited. Like, obviously there wasn't a lot that happened, but it just gave me the vibe and the, like, just, you know, and I'm so excited to pick this up. I really think I'm gonna love it. But I once again decided to actually be smart and productive and get back to a book that I started and haven't finished once again, which is We Hand the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. So I'm really like, I really decided to go for it this readathon, which normally, I actually like that because I feel like normally I tend to just read the shortest, easiest things ever so that I can read a lot of things, but I think it's nice to like have a balance of like, yes, read short fun things, but also read longer things, especially for 48 hours as opposed to 24. So this is a long book. It's almost 500 pages, but I already started it and read like 100 pages. So now I've been reading it for a little bit and I'm at 166. So I'm right here. Super excited. I didn't say anything about the plot. So this is a YA fantasy and I have to read you a line at the back of the book because it's really cool, and that is, people lived because she killed. People died because he lived. And then it also says, Zafira is the hunter, forced to disguise herself as a man. She braves the cursed forest to feed her people. And Nazir is the infamous Prince of Death, assassinating those foolish enough to defy his autocratic father, the Sultan. And I absolutely love the two main characters, and yeah, so the two of them, like, Zafira is a hunter, and Nazir is basically supposed to kill her, and he is also, yeah, he's an assassin as well, so, like, she's not the only one he's supposed to kill, and yeah, so I really like it. I do know that a lot of people complain about it being a little bit slow, so I do feel like that's the case a bit. Plus, I'm someone who is a super fast-paced person, and I love when I struggle with slow-paced books, and I feel like I always complain about books being too long and all that kind of stuff. But I love the two main characters, so that's the main thing for me, and like, if I love them, then I can deal with anything. So it could be a little bit faster, but I'm not like, I don't think it's bad at all. And then the thing that I mentioned that I hinted at is that I started a romance, which is, I forgot the name now. It's the book It Happened One Summer, is that the name? By Tessa Bailey. So I got to like 20% maybe. The main character, I don't remember their names yet. The heroine is this like super rich, spoiled woman. I'm not sure how old she is. And her parents are like, you know what? Her stepfather, I think, actually. He basically ends up telling her that she's going to go to this beach town where her father used to live, but he passed away. And so she's going to go there and just fend for herself for like 3 months or something. And so she goes there, she's super out of her element, she doesn't know how to cook and all of that, and I do love characters like that, and I really like her a lot. She is definitely like a mess, but I can already like empathize with her, and I just really like her a lot. And then she also goes there with her sister, so there's a sister relationship, which I always love to see. And obviously there she meets like a local guy, which I do really like that trope as well. It's definitely opposites attract. He's like, what is this woman doing here? Like, she doesn't belong here. And so they definitely don't get along at first, but you know, yes. And I'm pretty sure the hero is also super grumpy, and he lost his, I don't know if it was his wife or fiance, and so he has to, you know, he has to deal with that. And yes, so I feel like I'm reading such a random mixture of things, which is just honestly so in character for me. Please tell me in the comments down below if you're someone who like tends to stick to a genre, or if you're like me and you read almost everything. Like, I do have genres I never read, like horror or mystery, thriller, whatever. But other than that, like, it's a little bit of everything. But I do think that's honestly, to me, the best kind of reading life. I do mostly read romance, so yeah, nowadays that is at least like a main thing. I feel like I look really rough, but I have some updates. I just finished It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, and holy fucking shit, I absolutely adored it. Like, I don't even know how to talk about it. It's just the kind of thing that I flew through the book. Like, I did not want to put it down. I can't really handle listening to audiobooks for a really long time in a row because I start getting headaches, and the like big headphones, they make my ears hurt. But I was like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck if I have a headache. I have to keep reading this. So I am gonna take a break from audiobooks now before going to bed, but it was so sweet and steamy and romantic. And at the same time, like, I absolutely loved the journeys of the main characters. It has the kind of trope of, like, I absolutely can't fall in love with you. And you know, like, this is not gonna be serious at all from the heroine's perspective. And the hero is like, he starts falling for her, and then he's like, this is not casual at all for me. And, you know, it's definitely, yeah. So I love that. And I also love how the heroine, she has amazing character development, but at the same time, like, she completely stays true to who she is. And there's just such a strong support between the two of them. Like, they're just so supportive of everything. And it's just, like, so fucking sweet. It's way sweeter than I thought it would be. I feel like Tessa Bailey's books that I've read before aren't always like that. They're not always sweet. They're more of, like, just super fun and, like, passionate, steamy books. And this was that, but a lot of those, like, sweeter things as well, and I just fucking adored it. Also, one thing that really surprised me, I saw on Goodreads that it has 400 pages, which, if you know me, I always complain when contemporary books are longer than, like, 350 pages, because I feel like almost always it's kind of slow in some parts, or just too long, or there's something weird or whatever. But in this book, there was not a single moment when I was like, this is dragging on, this is way too slow, this shouldn't be here. It was just so good. And yes, audiobook listening does help me when a book is longer, and, you know, but I still feel like I can't think of anything when I would be like, this isn't good. So it was just incredible, absolutely a 5-star. And then with We Hand the Flame, I don't know how much progress I've made since I last talked to you. I ended up on page 206, so I'm getting close to the middle of the book and still really liking it. I do feel like it's a little bit slow, and it's also really intense and, like, plot driven, which I really struggle with. I'm not sure if this was, like, the smartest idea, but at the same time, I can balance it out with the romance. So I think I'm just gonna, like, let myself take it slow and not force myself to read the entire thing, and just read some things in the, like, along with it. Since it's midnight, I'm probably gonna move to bed soon, so I don't know what to read next, because mainly I want to read the physical books, which, again, can't really do that in bed. So there is a novella that I was also thinking about that I have on ebook that I might start, which is, I forgot the name, so I'm just going to talk about it in the morning, but we'll see. It is the next day. It's like 3:30 p.m. or something. I ended up waking up at 11 a.m. So not great, but I have been reading since I woke up, and so it did take away a lot of time, but it's chill, because I just finished We Hand the Flame by Hafsa Faizal, and I really enjoyed it. So I am honestly so proud of myself, because I never pick up long books for readathons especially, but honestly in general. The past few years, I've been super intimidated by long books, and I feel like I'm finally getting over it. Not necessarily books that are over 500 pages, but books that are like 400, or like this one. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So if you're also wondering why I'm not wearing glasses, it's because I did this, like, blue eyeshadow. And when I wear glasses, it, like, puts a shadow over it, makes it look super ashy, and I hate it. So I absolutely loved the two main characters, Nazir and Zafira. They were just wonderful. And what I didn't say is that this has an enemies to lovers romance, and I'm so fucking here for it. So it's the kind of thing that obviously it's a subplot, and it's really slow burn, and so we don't get a lot of content, but what we do get is amazing, and I just really enjoyed this book. Like I said, the pacing is not the best, but what made it better for me is that the chapters are really short, and I love that. So we get a point of view from both of the main characters, and so it switches really quickly, and I feel like that helps a lot. And I personally love short chapters, and especially when there are two points of view, I just feel like that works really well. And the world building in here was amazing. I didn't say that it's inspired by ancient Arabia, also a duology, so I do think I'm gonna read the second book super quickly. Definitely like not today, but soon. It's also on Scribd, so I think to the second book I'm probably gonna listen on audio. Last night I did start the infamous Miss Rodriguez, I think is the title, which is a romance novella, and it's a historical romance, and I read like 12%, so I can't really tell you much about it yet, but it's already really fun and engaging, and I don't really know much about the book, but what I do know is that the romance in here, there's like a class difference, and it's a rich heroine and a poor hero, which I love, and the voice of the book is so fun, and the heroine is just like really sassy and does whatever she wants, which we stan. So I don't know if I should read this now or if I want to pick up one of the physical books that I wanted to get to, because I did at least read Book Love. But besides that, I haven't read any of the books that I said I would, and I went to We Hunt the Flame, which I don't regret, but I'm like, I should read at least one of these. So I'm sorry if the lighting is a little bit weird. I also feel like my face looks weird. And yes, my ongoing frustration that my hair looks so fucking red. Just FYI, my hair is actually purple and pink, like something in between, and there's like a little bit of red in it, but on camera it just looks completely red. So this is gonna be my final update. Unfortunately, I was going to update throughout the day, but then just, yeah, I got kind of tired. I went on the bike ride, and I just, yeah, I don't even know, but I have done some reading. I have some things to update you on, so let's just get straight to that. So I finished the infamous Miss Rodriguez, and it was fun, it was cute, it was super quick to get through. I literally flew through it, and I've been meaning to get to this book for so long, so I'm so happy that I finally did. The romance in here, I feel like I didn't really say much about the plot, and I don't want to say too much, but what I am gonna say is that the heroine in this book, she is engaged to this guy who is super rich, but he's okay, but she doesn't feel any kind of connection to him, and he's not really like that great. He's kind of an asshole sometimes, and she just doesn't want to get married to him, and so she tries to do as many like rebellious, scandalous things as possible so that she kind of makes him call off the engagement, and things go on from there. They may or may not be a marriage of convenience in here, and so yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. My only complaint is that I feel like the way the romance developed was a little bit too rushed, and I wish we got a little bit more development. Then near the end of the book, there was like a plot line, something that was happening, there was a lot of that and no romance really. And I was like, I need the romance. So I didn't fully love it, but I did have a great time with it. So if you want just a fun, nice historical romance novella, definitely check it out. It's also set in the Caribbean, and all the main characters are people of color, and so definitely check it out. Then I actually picked up Hang the Moon by Alexandria Bellafleur. I am in love with this book. I ended up reading only 50 pages, so not far at all, and I was going to just, you know, dedicate my evening to this book. I knew that I could fly through it and finish it, but I went for the bike ride after starting it, and I was just thinking about it, and the thought of not having this book to read tomorrow, I hate it. So I was like, you know what, I think I should just let myself take time with this book and just really savor it. I'm fucking in love with it. It's literally already like, not just the first 50 pages, literally the first 15 pages, I was like, this is gonna be incredible. And like, while this was a 5-star prediction, I was like, I'm gonna adore this, like I knew I would love it. It still, you know, just took my breath away immediately. It's the kind of thing where I started reading it and I immediately was like, I don't want to stop. I'm so invested. This is everything. And I love that feeling so much. So I didn't want to rush it. So I just want to read it over the next few days. Maybe when I pick it up tomorrow, I won't be able to stop. We'll see. Then I read one more book, which was called Soft. And it's a poetry book. I found it on Scribd super randomly. I've never heard anyone talk about it, and I was just like, you know what, I haven't read any poetry in a while. And in case you didn't know, I love poetry. I even wrote a collection of poetry and published it. I never talk about it, but that happened. And so I love poetry, and I feel like I haven't been reading any of it. And this was nice. I ended up giving it like 3.5/4 stars, which is usually the case for poetry for me. It takes a lot for me to really love a poetry collection. I feel like I have really high standards and like a specific thing that I love the most. But honestly, it makes it even more special when I do find a book that's like a 5-star for me that I super connect to. It was still really nice, and there were some lines that really resonated with me. So yeah. So that's gonna be it for the readathon. It did not go quite as planned, and I feel like I definitely could have read more, because the end of today I barely read anything because I just was starting to get really tired and anxious, and I need to actually take a break. Like, you know, I was like, I'm taking a break, and honestly, since I announced it, I haven't really taken a break from filming. And while I love filming and I want to film, I feel like I really need at least a week of no filming at all. And so if you made it this far in the video, leave a crown emoji down below. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'm gonna see you soon in another video. Bye!